What was behind the decision to send Moses to Santa Cruz?
He just needs to play. He's a young guy and out of the rotation right now. And this is why Santa Cruz exists, it's for the development of our young players and potential future players. And it's a great tool. Memphis, I've thought of Memphis because of last year Moses played a game in Memphis. I meant to say Moses, but Moses will really benefit from going down, playing 35 minutes, and a couple games, get a bunch of shots up, build some confidence again and some rhythm, and it's all part of the development.
Outside of game reps, is there anything specific you'd like to see him work on during his time there?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty basic. I mean we're teaching the same thing here as we are there. And for Moses, his role will be 3-and-D. We want him to guard the best guy that he's going to play against in Santa Cruz, and we want him to feel comfortable, getting shots up, getting good shots, hopefully. But a big part of playing is just the rhythm that comes with playing time, and that's what it's about.
I know these things are usually fluid, but you mentioned a couple games. Any idea of how long you plan to have him down there?
For sure, these 2 games in L.A. Tonight, and is it tonight? Tomorrow night, yeah. Friday, Sunday, yeah, for sure those 2 games, and then he'll probably rejoin us for OKC.
And then was Andrew Wiggins able to come back today?
No, Andrew was not here today, still sick. So hopefully he'll be here tomorrow, but we'll see.
Following the G League lines of questioning, James was a DNP last night. With starting the smaller lineup, you do have a lot of depth at that 5 position. Is there a chance that James could also eventually go back down to the G League if this, I can't figure it out, the depth kind of stays there, if there's not going to be obvious playing time for him?
There's always a chance that, that could happen. So we just kind of play it, day to day. And so there are no plans right now, but that could change.
Assume today was largely video stuff. What specifics, not that you secrets or anything, but what did you want to try and get across to the team today?
Just how important it is to tie the game together. Our poor offensive execution and turnovers led to poor transition defense at the other end. We were lucky that Memphis did not play well last night, frankly, and I'm sure Taylor would tell you that. Watching the game over again, I don't think either team played very well. We each had stretches in the game where we did some things well, but neither team put together a good 48-minute night. So last night was just a matter of who put the ball in the hoop one more time than the other team. But I don't think either coach is very happy. So execution, fundamentals, good decision making on offense, and then giving our defense a chance in transition by taking care of the ball on offense.
What does it do when a team is whistled for 50 fouls in the first 5 minutes?
What does it do for a team?
Yeah, how does it change the mentality of approaching the game when you have a bunch of fouls going off in the first couple of minutes of a game?
Yeah, it changes everything. It changes the rotation pattern. It changes the mentality of how you're going to guard the rest of the quarter, because you're in the bonus, so you can't foul in a situation where you otherwise might actually foul to thwart an offensive surge. You just got to all of a sudden play more carefully, and it's just a bad tone to set in general. We don't get into our flow offensively, and so I thought that was a huge part of the game last night was the early fouls.
With Moses, is that a conversation that the two of you have? And you've talked about kind of his maturity so much. Yeah. Does it make it easier to send someone down like that, knowing how mature someone is?
Moses is fantastic. When we talked to him about it, he said, look, I chose to develop in the NBA. I could have chosen to develop in college, and that would have meant playing 35 minutes every night. But I chose to develop in the NBA, so that's what comes with it. Is some times like this where I'm not playing, not in the rotation, so I understand it. I mean, he's mature beyond his years. He's very wise. It's one of the reasons I'm so high on him, because he understands the big picture. He understands, this is all heading in a direction that's very positive, but it's not always easy to get there.
Even if Andrew's feeling better tomorrow, is it safe to assume he won't be available?
No, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I haven't talked to the training staff today, and maybe he shows up tomorrow and feeling great and ready to play. So I don't know yet.
This is kind of off the beaten path, but WNBA free agency signings can start at the beginning of February, and one of the big topics right now is charter flights. And I was just curious, obviously the NBA has chartered flights. Just what do you think about the WNBA still not having that for athletes, and what does that kind of do to put them in a position to make?
Well, I mean, there's no question that the charter flights changed everything for the NBA players, just in terms of the wear and tear, and being able to be at your best from one night to the next. I played 3 years without charters, and it's an entirely different deal. So I sympathize with the WNBA players. The travel being much more difficult, it definitely affects your play. As far as the business side of things, that's not my department, obviously. The owners of teams have to decide, does the economic model make sense to charter? So that's what it comes down to. I mean, if we haven't learned anything else in the NBA, it's that everything comes back to money and business, and so I'm sure that's what they're facing.
What have you thought about Kevon's improvement finishing around the basket? It seems like he's gotten a lot stronger there, especially this season.
Yeah, I think last year was when he made the breakthrough, both rebounding and finishing around the rim. And I think Decky has really helped him with that. But I think more than anything, Kevon just gets better and better each year because he's smart and he understands the game. And each year, he's adding a little bit to his game, but he understands, I think now, angles to get to, using his pump fake, but then stepping through, getting to the other side of the rim, using the rim as protection, whereas early in his career it was pump fake and go straight up. So his footwork is much better now, which has led to more opportunities. Loon is such a breath of fresh air, for this team. I mentioned last night was just filled with mistakes, poor execution. I looked at the numbers today. Loon has, if I'm off, I'm barely off, but 132 assists and 24 turnovers. Those are shocking numbers, but when you watch the tapes, it makes sense. If nothing's there,